Doubt is not foreign to the faithful. Even the strongest believers have wrestled with questions, felt the weight of delay, and battled the voice that says, "Give up." But here is a truth you must hold on to. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the choice to believe despite it. There is something remarkable about the way God works. His timing does not align with human calendars. What seems like a delay is often divine orchestration. The waiting season is not a wasted season. In fact, it is the very soil in which faith grows. Consider the seed buried underground. It does not look alive, yet deep within, transformation is taking place. The moment of breakthrough is hidden until the appointed time. And so, when you stand at the crossroads of faith and fear, ask yourself, will I trust what I see, or will I trust the one who sees beyond? Many times, we expect instant answers. We measure God's presence by the speed of his response. But faith is not a transaction, it is a relationship. And in that relationship, silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Think of the trials that have tested you. Have they not shaped you? Have they not prepared you for what is to come? Faith is refined in adversity, not comfort. The moments when we feel abandoned are often the moments when heaven is closest. The surprise of God often comes when we least expect it. A closed door leads to an open one. A painful ending paves the way for an unimagined beginning. The very thing that felt like a loss may be the foundation for something far greater than you envision. So hold on. Hold on when it seems. Hold on when doubt grows loud. Hold on when the night feels endless. Because when faith is tested, it is strengthened. And when faith is strengthened, miracles unfold. God is not finished yet. The chapter you are in is not the final page. A divine surprise is in the making, one that will remind you that faith was never in vain. Hold on. The story is about to turn. Doubt is often seen as the adversary of faith, a force that opposes belief and weakens conviction. However, this perception is not entirely accurate. Doubt does not exist to destroy faith, but to refine it. It serves as the crucible in which true belief is tested and purified. Without doubt, faith remains unchallenged, fragile, and shallow. But when faith encounters doubt, it is forced to deepen, to seek understanding, and to grow beyond mere sentiment. Faith that has never been tested is like a structure that has never faced a storm. It may look strong, but its foundation remains unproven. A building is not declared sturdy simply because it stands. It is declared sturdy because it withstands. In the same way, faith gains strength only when it is questioned, stretched, and pushed beyond comfort. Doubt acts as the wind that shakes the tree, causing weak branches to fall away while strengthening the roots that anchor it. There is a reason why great thinkers, theologians, and even the most devout believers have encountered seasons of doubt. Doubt invites reflection. It forces one to confront the depth of their beliefs rather than passively accept them. It compels an individual to seek, to wrestle, to ask the difficult questions that, when answered, lead to a faith that is not just inherited or assumed but personally confirmed. Without doubt, belief risks becoming blind adherence rather than a conscious and deliberate trust. Furthermore, doubt reveals the difference between what is merely assumed and what is truly known. It distinguishes surface-level conviction from deeply rooted understanding. When faced with uncertainty, one must ask, is my faith built on borrowed words, or is it founded on personal experience? It is easy to affirm belief when life is predictable, but when uncertainty arises, one must decide whether their faith is merely a habit or a living, breathing certainty that has endured the trials of reality. Consider the way a sculptor works. A block of stone holds potential, but it remains unshaped until it faces the chisel. The sculptor must strike repeatedly, removing what is unnecessary, carving away what is in excess, until the true form emerges. Doubt is that chisel. It does not destroy, it refines. It cuts away weak and baseless beliefs, leaving behind a faith that is stronger, purer, and more authentic. Doubt also teaches humility. There is a danger in believing that faith must always feel certain, that questioning is a sign of weakness. But history has shown that those who wrestle with faith often emerge with a greater understanding than those who never question at all. Faith does not require the absence of doubt. It requires the willingness to move forward despite it. True faith is not arrogance in one's beliefs, but the humility to admit that one does not always understand, yet chooses to trust anyway. Another purpose of doubt is that it fosters a deeper connection with the divine. When everything is clear and answers are immediate, faith becomes passive. But when faced with uncertainty, one is driven to seek, to knock, to ask. This pursuit strengthens the relationship between the believer and the one they trust. A child who receives everything they ask for instantly may take their parents' provision for granted, but a child who has learned to wait, to rely, to depend, develops a deeper appreciation of their parents' care. In the same way, doubt creates an opportunity for faith to move beyond mere expectation and into active trust. One must also recognize that doubt often precedes revelation. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in faith have come after periods of deep questioning. The dark night of the soul often gives way to the dawn of understanding. When doubt arises, it signals that one is on the brink of discovering something greater, something more profound than what was previously known. Instead of seeing doubt as a threat, one should recognize it as an invitation to grow, to seek, and to uncover deeper truths. In its essence, doubt is not the enemy, stagnation is. A faith that does not question, that does not seek, that does not engage with uncertainty, remains static. But a faith that confronts doubt, that wrestles with it and emerges refined, is one that will endure. Doubt is the shadow that makes faith's light shine brighter. It is not a sign of weakness, but a doorway to strength. Faith is often misunderstood as a final state, a place one arrives at after doubt is removed and certainty is achieved. However, faith is not a destination, it is a journey. It is not about reaching a point where belief is effortless, but about continuously choosing trust despite the uncertainties of life. Faith does not eliminate questions. It teaches one to walk forward even when answers are unclear. A traveler on a long road does not see the entire path at once. The way ahead may be obscured by hills, forests, or mist, yet the traveler moves forward, trusting that the road will continue to unfold. Faith operates in the same way. It does not require the full picture to be visible. It only requires enough light for the next step. Those who demand to see the entire route before proceeding will remain motionless, paralyzed by the need for absolute certainty. But those who embrace the journey, accepting that clarity comes with movement, will discover that faith grows stronger with every step. Life rarely unfolds in a straight line. There are twists, setbacks, and unexpected detours. Faith must adjust to these changes, adapting rather than breaking. Many assume that having faith means everything will go according to plan, but faith is not about controlling outcomes. It is about trusting through the unknown. A river does not resist the obstacles in its path. It moves around them, reshaping its course while continuing toward its destination. In the same way, faith is not about rigidly clinging to one's expectations, but about flowing with the unforeseen, knowing that even in the detours, there is purpose. Faith is not proven in moments of ease, but in seasons of waiting. Waiting is one of the most difficult aspects of faith because it tests patience, endurance, and trust. When promises seem delayed, when prayers appear unanswered, the temptation is to doubt or to take matters into one's own hands. However, true faith understands that timing is not always aligned with human urgency. A seed planted in the ground does not produce fruit immediately. It undergoes an unseen process of growth before the harvest appears. Faith operates in the same way. It requires time, persistence, and belief in what is not yet visible. Doubt often arises on the journey of faith, but doubt does not signify failure. It is a natural part of the process, a sign that one is thinking, questioning, and seeking deeper understanding. The presence of doubt does not cancel out faith. Rather, it refines it. A faith that has never been challenged is fragile, but a faith that has been tested and endured emerges unshakable. Growth occurs not in the absence of struggle, but through it. Just as muscles strengthen through resistance, faith strengthens when it pushes against uncertainty. Many view faith as a guarantee of smooth passage, but faith does not remove obstacles. It provides the strength to overcome them. The journey will include valleys as well as mountaintops, storms as well as clear skies. Those who expect only ease will become discouraged at the first sign of difficulty. But those who understand that challenges are part of the journey will persevere, knowing that every difficulty serves a purpose. A ship is not built for calm waters alone. It is designed to withstand the waves. Faith, likewise, is not meant for moments of comfort alone, but for navigating the trials of life. Faith is also a continuous process of learning and unlearning. As one grows in experience, perspectives shift, understanding deepens, and previous beliefs may evolve. This does not mean faith was misplaced before, but that it is expanding. A child's understanding of the world is not the same as an adult's, yet both are valid stages of development. Similarly, faith progresses through stages, maturing as one encounters new challenges, insights, and revelations. One of the most significant aspects of faith as a journey is the necessity of endurance. There will be moments when faith feels strong and moments when it feels fragile. There will be days of clarity and days of confusion. What matters is not achieving an unshakable certainty, but holding on even when certainty wavers. Faith is not about never questioning, it is about continuing to trust despite the questions. It is not about feeling secure at all times, but about moving forward even in uncertainty. Those who embark on the journey of faith must accept that it is lifelong. There is no final point where all doubts disappear, where belief is never tested again. Faith is dynamic, growing with every challenge faced, every lesson learned, and every step taken despite fear. The goal is not to arrive at perfect certainty, but to develop a trust that remains steady, regardless of circumstances. Faith is not a fixed point. It is a road that one walks, one choice at a time. Human perception of time is bound by moments, deadlines, and expectations, while divine timing operates beyond these constraints. What seems like a delay in human eyes is often perfect alignment in divine orchestration. The difference between God's timing and human understanding creates tension, leading many to question whether their prayers have been heard or whether they have been forgotten. However, the nature of time itself must be reconsidered. What feels like waiting is often a process of unseen preparation. A person standing at the base of a mountain sees only what is directly in front of them, while one at the summit sees the entire landscape. The human perspective is limited to immediate circumstances, whereas God sees the full picture. What appears to be stagnation from a ground-level view may, in reality, be movement from a higher vantage point. Understanding this difference requires a shift in trust, from reliance on visible progress to confidence in an unseen plan. A common struggle arises when expectations conflict with reality. People often set timelines for their breakthroughs, assuming that faith should yield immediate results. When answers do not arrive within these self-imposed deadlines, discouragement sets in. However, divine timing does not conform to human urgency. The delay is not denial, rather, it is refinement. The waiting period is often where faith is strengthened, where patience is developed, and where one is prepared to receive what has been promised. Consider the growth of a tree. A seed, once planted, does not immediately sprout into a towering structure. Beneath the surface, roots are forming, securing the foundation before any visible growth occurs. If impatience leads one to dig up the seed prematurely, the process is disrupted, and the tree never reaches its potential. The same principle applies to divine timing. What is unseen is not inactive, it is foundational. The process of waiting is not empty time, it is necessary groundwork. Time, from a divine perspective, is not linear but purposeful. Humans measure time in hours, days, and years, but God operates through seasons. Just as winter is necessary before spring can bring new life, periods of stillness and waiting often precede significant breakthroughs. When nothing seems to be changing, it does not mean nothing is happening. Often, the most profound transformations occur beneath the surface, before they manifest outwardly. Expectation without patience leads to frustration, but expectation with trust leads to peace. A child who asks a parent for something good must trust that if there is a delay, it is not out of neglect but wisdom. A responsible parent does not give a child something before they are ready for it, not out of cruelty but out of care. If a young child asks for the keys to a car, the parent delays granting the request until the child has learned to drive. The gift is not denied, it is reserved for the right time. Similarly, what seems like divine hesitation is often divine protection. The timing is not just about the request, but about readiness. Waiting often exposes the true motives of the heart. If faith is dependent on immediate results, then it is not faith, but a demand. Faith is tested in seasons of silence, proving whether trust is placed in the outcome or in the one who holds the outcome. Those who only trust when things go according to plan are not exercising faith, but living by sight. True faith continues even when the evidence of progress is absent. God's timing is also aligned with the alignment of circumstances, people, and opportunities. A door that is closed today may open effortlessly in the future, not because circumstances changed randomly, but because the appointed time has arrived. Many who have rushed ahead of divine timing have found themselves struggling unnecessarily, while those who have waited with trust have walked into prepared blessings with ease. The difference is not effort, but alignment. Frustration often arises when comparing one's timeline to another's. It is tempting to look at others who seem to be advancing while one remains in a season of waiting. However, each person's journey is uniquely designed. A flower that blooms in summer does not envy the one that blooms in spring, because both have their appointed time. The path of another is not a blueprint for one's own journey. Comparing timelines only leads to unnecessary doubt and impatience. Preparation often looks like delay, but delay is not wasted time. Many doors remain closed because stepping through them prematurely would be detrimental. The foundation must be firm before the structure can rise. The process is not about withholding blessings, but ensuring that when they arrive, they can be sustained. What is built too quickly without preparation often collapses under pressure. The waiting season is not punishment, it is construction. Faith in divine timing requires surrender. It requires relinquishing control over when and how things unfold. Those who trust in divine timing release the burden of trying to force things into existence. There is peace in knowing that what is meant to be will arrive, not a moment too soon or too late, but precisely at the right time. Faith is not about passively waiting, but about actively trusting. Even in waiting, there is movement, for time spent in faith is never time wasted. Trust is easiest when circumstances align with expectations, when life follows a predictable course, and when faith appears to be rewarded with visible results. But trust is truly tested when the path forward is unclear, when prayers seem unanswered, and when logic offers no explanation for present struggle. The human mind craves certainty, seeking patterns and reasons, but faith often requires trust beyond what is understood. Trust is not an intellectual exercise. It is a choice to believe even when evidence appears to contradict belief. When nothing makes sense, the natural response is to question, to seek explanations, and to demand clarity. But faith does not require immediate answers. It requires endurance. The greatest test of trust is not in moments of revelation, but in seasons of silence. It is one thing to trust when the road is well lit. It is another to continue walking when the way ahead is obscured by darkness. True trust is demonstrated when nothing seems to be working, when waiting feels endless, and when there is no logical reason to continue believing, yet one does. Trust is not passive. It is an active commitment to hold on even when emotions waver. Feelings are unreliable guides, shifting with circumstances, but trust must remain steady. Many expect trust to remove fear, but trust and fear often coexist. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Likewise, Trust does not require the absence of doubt. It requires the decision to remain steadfast despite doubt's presence. History reveals that some of the greatest moments of breakthrough followed periods of confusion and hardship. Those who achieved significant victories did not do so because they always understood the process, but because they refused to let go of trust when everything seemed uncertain. The seed of faith does not grow in the comfort of understanding, but in the soil of perseverance. If trust were only required when things were clear, it would not be trust. It would be simple agreement with what is already known. Many struggle with trust because they confuse waiting with abandonment. When things do not happen according to personal timelines, the assumption is often that they will never happen. But trust requires letting go of the illusion of control, understanding that timing and outcomes are not dictated by human urgency. A delay does not mean denial. The pause between asking and receiving is often the space where character is developed, where lessons are learned, and where trust is deepened beyond surface-level belief. There is a natural desire to understand everything before moving forward, yet certainty is not always a prerequisite for action. A person crossing a bridge at night may not see the other side, but they step forward because they trust the structure beneath them. Faith operates in the same way. It does not require a full explanation of what lies ahead. It only requires the willingness to take the next step. The need for complete understanding often leads to stagnation, but trust allows for movement even in uncertainty. Trust does not eliminate hardship, but it provides stability in the midst of it. Life does not guarantee a path free from difficulties, losses, or unexpected turns, but trust is the anchor that prevents one from being completely overtaken by the storms of life. Those who build their foundation on trust do not escape hardship, but they endure it with a strength that is unshaken by temporary circumstances. Perspective changes everything in the process of trust. A person who sees a delay as a punishment will grow bitter, while one who sees it as preparation will grow stronger. The same storm that causes one tree to break causes another to deepen its roots. Trust determines whether challenges are seen as obstacles or as stepping stones to greater strength. The difference between despair and endurance is often not in the situation itself, but in how it is perceived. Control is the greatest enemy of trust. The more one tries to control outcomes, the harder it becomes to release fears and rely on faith. Trust requires surrender, the willingness to admit that not everything is within human grasp. A person holding tightly to their own plans will struggle when those plans do not unfold as expected. But one who releases control understands that sometimes the best path is not the one imagined, but the one revealed in time. Trust grows in uncertainty, not in comfort. A child who always receives immediate answers never learns patience. A soldier who never faces adversity never develops resilience. Trust is forged in the moments when everything seems to be unraveling, yet one chooses to hold on. The greatest victories are not in avoiding difficulties, but in enduring them with unwavering faith. Trust is not about seeing. It is about knowing that even when nothing makes sense, the unseen hand guiding the journey is still at work.